call this meeting to order. Yeah, now I have apparently. I got to remember to do this, and we're a couple of minutes late. We do have a quorum, barely, and we have an understanding that another of our members will be here in a few minutes, and the last one we know as much about as you do right now. So, in any event, we'll proceed. We may have to jumble the order of that I had set on my agenda, but that's no problem. I do that many times. If you would, if you'll bow with me, we'll have a word of prayer. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for this day and the opportunity we have to gather here. Lord, we're mindful that there are those around that are hurting from loss of loved ones or sickness or whatever. Lord, we just pray that you'll continue to be with them. Lord, we'll make a selfish request at this time, as I understand that I may be a grandfather again before this night is over. I pray that the baby will be born safely and her mother will do well and be kept from harm. I thank you for everything you do for this community. I thank you for our people. I thank you for what we try to do here, what we try to teach here, what we try to stand for in this community, and we pray that you'll continue to bless us and go with us now and forgive us of our many sins. Amen. Amen. All right, we have minutes. You actually have two sets of minutes, but it is one meeting. So I think one motion and second will take care of both of those.
I make a motion we approve.
All right, you got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Okay. You would all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. I had on the agenda to select a new council member at this time. We'll wait till hopefully we'll have a full contingent of our sitting council, so we'll hold off on that. And we'll go into public business. If there's anybody here from the public that would like to address us, now is the time to do so.
Yes, I would.
All right.
Mike, I had talked to you earlier about the problem I was having with my lawnmower.
Yes, sir.
I had another episode happen about a month ago.
Okay.
The white-haired police officer, I was playing, I went up my house, got the mower, come down Woodard, and about where I was in front of technical plane, I said, the police car come through. I thought, oh God. But he didn't stop. I thought, well, he ain't stopping, I ain't stopping. I figured if that was him, he'd be down there at the end of Woodland, they call him Avenue, which he wasn't. I turned left. I mowed Richard Mason's yard down the street from him. He made him swap work out. I mowed his yard, and he comes over where Granny's lot is, and we eats back there on the creek bank. And I got down up to his house, went around the perimeter of it about 4 times, cut across the lower half down there, mowed that, come back to the front yard and had half of it mowed. And out of the corner of my eye, I seen the police car. Flipped the blue lights on. And I thought, I'm in the yard mowing. You know, what's wrong? And he didn't pull into the driveway. He stopped in the street there and blocked the driveway. I thought, well, you think I'm going to do like a run for it? And I made a little lap or two around the yard, and I just pulled up there, pulled the police car, cut the blades off, let the mower idle for a minute, and turned it off, crossed my arms and sickness. Smoked a cigarette. He was talking on the police radio for about a minute. Then he hung it up and got his cell phone out. I don't know who he called or whatever. He talked to them about 10 or 15 minutes. Then he finally hooked up, flipped the blue lights off, and he drove off. I mean, I feel like I'm being picked on. I mean, he ain't stopping nobody else. The city, I ain't trying to throw the city up or nothing, but they don't have a triangle sign on the backhoe, or their lawnmower, or their four-wheeler, or anything else. Why am I being arrested?
Well, Rick, let me ask you, did any police officer address you this time?
No, but he said there were blue lights on, like he was do something, you know.
Okay, but he didn't.
No.
Okay.
No, he didn't. But I'm terrified of keeping my grass mowed. I got a slow moving triangle, put on the roll bar of it, and that was a job because the roll bar is made out of the same material a NASCAR roll bar is made out of. Like a never real big. You know, I don't bother anybody.
So what are you asking the council to do tonight?
Somebody say something to him, and leave him alone if I ain't doing that.
Well, I think you just did because he's sitting here tonight. Officer Willis, so I think you got your message across. I will publicly apologize to you. You asked me about 6 weeks ago to look into this, and it slipped my mind. I didn't do it, and April reminded me of it this morning, and then I did check on it today. So, hi, Christian. Yes, sir. Don, you want to say something?
I'd like to have an opportunity to address.
Sir?
I'd like to have an opportunity to address council.
Okay.
Myself.
Okay, but I want to tell you guys something. We don't try cases in here. That's what courts are for. But since your name's been called into it, I'll give you an opportunity. Then we're going to move on.
The version was quite a bit different. Version. I don't even know if we're talking about the same incident. On the day in question, while on routine patrol, I was getting fuel at Three Forks Market when I noticed an elderly man, this man here, fueling up a riding lawnmower a couple pumps over. I first thought he was mowing the grass at Three Forks Market, but realized that was not the case when he pulled out on the Statesville Road in front of a car between Three Forks Market and Dollar General. I remember thinking that guy's going to get ran over on that mower. There was a car in front of him at the stop sign and one behind him. I pulled onto the road behind them all. I was concerned because I could see that he was in traffic and apparently going to try to cross Sparta Pike in the middle of heavy traffic. As I started to pull around the car in front of me and pull up beside him, the car in front of him turned left and he sped straight ahead across Sparta Pike on his mower. I watched him cross Sparta Pike in oncoming traffic, having to brake because he was crossing Sparta Pike. I wondered if he was confused maybe about where he was. As soon as I crossed Sparta Pike and caught up with him, he was approaching Depot Restaurant. He was in the middle of the street, seeming oblivious to the fact he was in traffic with a riding mower. He never slowed up when he got to the stop sign at Depot in Main, made a quick left. He proceeded down Main, headed west in the middle of the street. I had observed enough to be concerned for his safety and his mental state. I pulled alongside him, rolled down my window, hit my electronic horn, and asked him to pull over to the side of the street. He stopped. It was still in the right lane. We weren't over the curb. So I eased up behind him and initiated my emergency lights. Obviously, for safety reasons, I didn't want anybody hitting me or him. I got out and spoke to him. They seemed to look confused. I asked him for some identification, which is standard procedure. He asked me why I was stopping him. I told him I'd seen him pull out in traffic on a riding mower and cross a busy highway in the middle of heavy traffic, and I was a bit concerned for his safety. He said he was getting gas for his riding mower and he didn't know what was the big deal. I said, well, sir, this vehicle has no safety equipment. It has no horn, no headlights, no turn signals, no brake lights. And if you're riding it down the middle of the street and crossing a busy highway as if it were a car, and it's not. He said, you're just harassing me. I said, no, sir, I was concerned, obviously, that you might get run over. He said if I was going to write him, asking me if I was going to write him a ticket. I said, no, sir. I'm not here to write you a ticket. I simply want to advise you that it's not a good idea to ride down the middle of the street and be crossing Sparta Pike to go get gas. Aside from the fact that it's against the law, you could wind up getting hurt or killed. I saw that on his license he lived in Watertown, a few streets over. I asked him where he was going. He gave me an address on Main Street, further up from where we were. He said it was his house. I could see that his address on his license was a different address. So that made me think maybe he was a little confused, maybe in a confused mental state. So I mentioned his license showed that he actually lived over on the other side of town. He stated he did live there, but he owned the house on Main Street and had driven to Three Forks to get gas to mow the grass at the house on Main Street. I asked him if he owned a vehicle. He said he did. I said it'd be a good idea to take his vehicle to get gas for his mower instead of taking it to Three Forks Market in the middle of traffic trying to cross a busy highway like Sparta Pike. He said, what pisses me off is I've seen city employees on riding mowers gassing up at Three Forks, and I'll bet you didn't write them a ticket. I said, sir, I'm not writing you a ticket. I'm simply asking you not to ride this mower down the middle of Main Street and go to Three Forks Market across Sparta Pike to get gas on it. I told him, have a nice day, got back in my patrol vehicle, continued my patrol duties, and I discussed the incident with my supervisor.
Okay. Sir, I'd like to ask you a question. what about the other people in Watertown that's doing the same thing? I ride my mower on the street, and I know it's others, I see them all the time, and I work at Three Forks Market, and they come over there and get gas all the time. Now, if we're gonna do this,
I think it's a good idea to have a constant,
well,
a
I
level
think,
playing
I
field.
think
I'm
we
gonna let
need
the
to,
chief- I'm gonna let the chief speak.
I'm addressing you. I'd just like to know if we're gonna do this for everybody in town.
If we're telling someone, you know, that they need to be off the road, city ordinances 11703 prohibits it. The
So
city
you're gonna
ordinance-
enforce it now?
Huh?
Are you gonna enforce it? No, blind mowers on the street?
It wasn't enforced, he was actually.
I'm
just staying off the
asking,
road.
I'm asking you, are you gonna enforce
Do
it?
you want it enforced?
No, I'm asking you.
We will ask people to not do that. If it continues, yes, we will enforce it if we need to.
But this has been happening for years in this town.
There's a lot of things been happening for years in
Yeah,
this
but
town.
why all of a sudden you're trying to stop it?
Well-
I don't understand. I mean, I live 3 houses up the street. If I'm gonna come down, I'm not gonna go get a trailer and put my mower on it to haul it 3 houses down the street.
They make gas cans. I transport
I
my
didn't
gas
say
all the
anything about
time.
gas. I said I wasn't going to get my mower, put it on the trailer and haul it 3 houses down. This is a small town. We're not talking about Nashville or Lebanon.
Then this is your ordinance. If you don't like the ordinance, y'all need to change it. Y'all the one that's got the authority to do that, not me.
It's something we need to think about.
We may take a look at that.
We need to think about a lot of
May
things.
I make a statement?
Yes, sir, and then I'm gonna cut this off.
A garden track. As long as he has the slow moving triangle in back of it, he does most of them have headlights. They don't have stop lights. Most of them don't have turn signals. Some of them have flashers on it, don't get me wrong.
Yep. No, it's
But as
not.
long as they got the triangle on it, then it's all right.
Okay,
And a riding mower is considered a long track.
all right, we're gonna take a look at that ordinance. I'm not gonna do it tonight. Okay, all right, anybody else from the public here on anything would like to address us? Okay, we'll change, thank you for coming, and thank you, Officer Willis, for coming. So we will shut down the public, business portion of this. Do we still know, does anybody know about Jim Mahoney? Can you text him? Okay. We need to select a 6th council person tonight, but I really think that we should have a full house when we do it. A full contingent of older people, whatever y'all are now. More women than they are guys, so older women, I guess. But anyway, we'll hold up and see if we can proceed tonight. Okay, we'll go into the reports. Dale, I think you're first up tonight.
Don't have a lot to report this month. We're still waiting on Wascon to bring some materials to finish the repair work at the sewer plant that we approved last month. They're having some trouble getting some materials in. Apparently it's taken them a long time, but I did talk to them last week and they assured me that they'd get over here as soon as they got the materials in. But other than that, I don't have much for you guys this month.
All right, any questions for Dale? While you're here, and the police chief and the fire assistant chief, back when we had the place closed down for COVID, we asked you to provide us written reports. I'm going to continue to ask you to do that on Friday before the meetings on Tuesday, so that we can get them out to the council people and they can look at them in advance if they have any questions, and sometimes that'll even save you some time. So I appreciate you doing that, and the ladies that work here get those out to us. So we'll continue that in the future, even though the meetings are open to the public now. Any questions of Dale? Thank you, sir. Next up would be Assistant Chief Decker with a fire report. How you doing, Joe?
I'm pretty good, Mr. Mayor. How are you?
Doing good.
Did everybody get a copy? I think they sent that out the end of the week last week.
Should be one.
Sweet. So just a summary, we ran close to 70 calls last week. The majority were in the county. We did have about 20 in the city limits. Just some notes we're going forward for the last month. We've got 5 new recruits in our recruit academy we're doing in-house down here in Watertown. We currently have roughly 20 volunteers on our roster. Chief is kind of the point of contact for more information about it, but WEMA is still planning to put a fire engine down here in the hall. Here
Joe,
probably
if you
within the
would,
next couple of
explain
weeks.
how that's gonna work. The county funded in their budget this year 2 additional WEMA personnel per shift.
Per
So that'll
shift,
give us
correct.
4, and they're gonna put a fire engine here.
That's correct.
designed to help cover this end of the county.
It is,
So
yes, sir.
tell us how that'll work, and
Like I said-
y'all agreed with that, as I understand it. Y'all are
We
okay
did.
with it.
From what I understand, it's just to supplement their outlying areas. So outside of the city limits, but what's still considered mostly the Watertown address. So they're looking at mostly covering kind of north and east of Watertown. And so that's to help out their ISO rating and to help out their, the taxpayers out there that don't necessarily have a station too close to them. So here in the city, they have the ambulance and the tanker, but as far as fire protection is concerned, it's kind of up to Watertown that we provide, and so for us being a volunteer and then being a paid service is a little bit of difference. So they're just looking to supplement that. Like Chief is kind of the overseer for that agreement going forward, but from the way we understand it, it won't affect our operations too much, but it'll kind of cut down on our call volume going outside the city limits to the county. So we're just trying to put some extra people on scene for that.
Do our contractors get a say on which calls that truck goes to, or is it only those locations that you mentioned earlier?
So that's going to come down to dispatch. Our territory is still the same. They're looking at their protocols to kind of dictate how that's going to work. The last update that we received was that they're going to send their engine on anything with us that's cardiac or severe medical related.
In addition to what we would spend?
Right, and so that would take the place of us going on, let's say, a fall at 2 a.m. or something a little less serious outside the city limits. So we're still covering Statesville, still covering Loring, Commerce, all those areas. They're just trying to cut down on some of the calls for us going that aren't as serious in nature. And anything outside of the medical realm, brush fires, wrecks, structure fires, anything like that, we're still responding like we were. So that's to try to keep us out of Kennedy Creek and Fight Road and Commerce Church, right at the borderline of the county line. So.
And I was involved in a lot of those committee meetings, not as a participant, but there as county attorney when it was discussed, and I can tell you that the proposal was in no way any type of slap or anything toward the Watertown Volunteer Fire Department.
Yeah.
In fact, our bunch kind of stands out. They do a really good job.
Thank you.
And so they wanted to, county mayor and others felt like they needed to provide some type of service to the county taxpayers. So they were saying, why are we paying for people that everywhere and you don't have them at Watertown? So that's how we got those. And I envision it working very well together. Hope so anyway.
I think
If not,
so.
we'll back up and take a look at it.
How's that?
This department's been serving now for what, Joe, 70 years?
Right at it, yes, sir.
Yeah, so we kind of know what we're doing here.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
Outside of that, just another update on the notes. We got our new extrication equipment in just a few days ago. So we brand new unboxed it. We're planning to do a photo op here in the next week or so. That was right around $30,000 we got from Firehouse Subs. I'm still waiting to get back from their PR people about doing a press release, but we should get something out to the paper within the next couple of weeks. So
Okay.
continuing work.
Any questions of Assistant Chief Decker? I've called him Joe, but I've called him Joe when he was a little boy, so
Hey, that's all right.
I got to get used. I got
Joe
to get
works
used to
fine.
calling you official. Yeah.
Joe works fine. All right. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. All right, Police Chief Laney. You're last tonight, but next month you'll be first. As we rotate them around. Anything you need to tell us?
No, sir, we seem to be doing pretty good. We've got all of our spots filled back again. We lost one man. Got him replaced. And that's pretty much it. We're trying to do our jobs.
Okay, got a monthly report here. Anybody got any questions about those? 19 cases in general sessions, that seems pretty high to me.
Yes, sir.
A lot going on.
Well, a
Outside
lot
of the
of it
city
goes back to what we was talking about a while ago. We got a lot of young officers now that we didn't used to have. And these young officers are making stops that an old person like me probably wouldn't make. But they're legal, legitimate stops. The more stops you make, the more crime you find. So that's the reason why it's actually up. I heard somebody in a meeting or two back ask about the large number of warnings. That goes into it. You know, if you make a violation, we stop you and say, hey, you know, this is not a major violation, this is a violation. You need to, you know, not be doing this. You know, I can't understand why someone would be upset about that. Well, by law, we could issue citations, but we don't do it. Okay. We'd prefer not to. But, you know, we've got to have a little even road here somewhere too.
Well, the reason I asked about the general sessions is probably everybody here knows, but general sessions is where the more
criminal cases,
serious misdemeanor cases and felonies go. And on here, you've got 1 aggravated assault, 2 domestic assaults, 8 driving on a revoked or suspended license, 1 DUI, 1 evading arrest, 4 warrant services, 1 public intoxication, 1 theft of property. Most of those are pretty serious offenses.
Yes, sir.
And those are going on here in our community.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any questions of the chief? Anybody? All right. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move on. Let me ask you, those of you that are here, do you want to proceed? Well, first of all, have we heard anything back from Jim? Okay. Do you want to proceed tonight on selecting a new council person? Or do you wish to wait until we have a full house?
I think we should proceed.
Go ahead and proceed?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the will? All right. All right, so the floor is up. I'm going to take that up now then before we get into old business, so whoever we select can have fun participating with us like we do. So let me go back and ask, it's time now to select a new council member, so are there nominations?
I nominate Stephen Adams.
Okay. All right, are there other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Kayla Barrett.
Okay. All right, any other nominations? All right, hearing none, we'll stop with those 2 nominations, both of whom are good quality candidates, and let me,
Mr. Mayor, if we and when we vote, will you be able to swear them in?
yes,
Tonight?
I have the oath here.
Yourself, okay.
Now, I want to remind you, this is the reason I keep asking about a full house. It will take 4 votes to get elected. We did this in January when we selected Hal. We had 3 nominations, and it takes 4 votes to get elected. If we don't have 4, then the lowest vote getter would drop off. But that doesn't help anything because we still don't have 4 for the other. So that's why I'm a little concerned about us not having enough people here tonight. But it is what it is. So having said that, does anybody have any comments they want to make? I think we all know both these guys, and as I said before, they're good people, as are all Watertown citizens. That's a shameless plug for the Democrat, okay? Yeah. Okay, are we ready to vote? Are you? Okay, call a roll. We'll start over here with Hal. Or you call a roll. Yeah, you call a roll.
Okay, Hal?
Stephen Adams.
Laura?
Kayla Barrett.
Christie?
Kayla Barrett.
Brandy? Caleb Barrett.
I'm going to vote for Caleb just so it'll give us 4. That's no slight against Stephen at all. In fact, he's the only one that asked me to vote for him. But if we don't select somebody tonight, we'll be right back where we are. So I'll vote for Caleb, and he'll be selected as the council person with 4 votes.
I would like to say that I thank you for your interest, and it is nothing at all against you. I think it's wonderful we had another seat. I would be happy to nominate you and vote for you. So please do not take it anything against this. Thank you.
And I'm going to say this, it's probably not a nice thing to say, but the way that our council people have been dropping the last year or so, there may be another election before you know it. So, okay, Caleb, are you ready to take the oath of office? All right, come on around. I will warn you that this is very lengthy. I have made the comment, and I believe I'm correct on this, that this oath is actually longer than the one the President of the United States takes.
A lot of hard words.
Yeah, I'll go as fast or as slow as you want to go. Probably the only one that's ever administered an oath breaking the dialogue. I'll wear that if that's all right.
Yeah.
All right, I state your name.
I, Caleb Barrett,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the United States Constitution of America,
the Constitution of the State of Tennessee,
the Constitution of the State of Tennessee,
and the Charter of Watertown, Tennessee,
and the Charter of Watertown, Tennessee,
and that
and that,
as a member of the Board of Aldermen,
as a member of the Board of Aldermen,
I will in all elections
I will in all elections
vote without favor, partiality, or prejudice.
vote without
Favor?
favor, partiality, or prejudice.
I'm sorry, I missed
That's
you.
all right.
And that I will not purpose
And I will not purpose
or assent to any ordinance,
or assent to any ordinance,
vote, or resolution
vote, or resolution
which shall appear to be injurious to the people,
which shall appear to be injurious to the people,
or consent to any act or thing
or consent to any act or thing
whatsoever
whatsoever
that shall have a tendency
that shall have a tendency
to oppress or abridge the rights of the people,
that shall oppress or
abridge,
abridge the rights of the people,
and declared by the Charter
and declared by the Charter
of the City of Watertown
of the City of Watertown
and the Constitution of the state,
and the Constitution of the state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you, my friend. Congratulations.
Try to-
All right, you need to sign this, so you'll be recorded for posterity. I'm gonna go, well, you go ahead and sign right there. And I'll see it. Right there. Yeah, I'll fill the rest of it out here in a minute. All right.
I guess I'll sit over here.
Yeah, that'd be okay. Yeah, let me. Lisa and April, I'll have to note it, no. It just says that I administered the oath. I can sign it here. Okay. And Caleb, I am a homer. I sign everything in purple. I don't want there to be any doubt about who I'm for.
And future reference, not that it's a big deal, but I think you'll be on this side of the table at our next meeting. How usually sits there, but you do whatever you want. I've got a special guest tonight, and I'm not gonna give her seat back.
Yeah, I have to have somebody sit between those two, like you do in grade school, yeah. All right. Will? Okay. All family, right? Okay. I should have had y'all come up here. I'd have held the baby. Do what? Oh yeah, I will, but I'd have held her while I was doing that. I like babies. I like babies. Okay, I've got a few items of old business tonight, very important to our community. Caleb, you're at a little bit of a disadvantage, but I'll try to explain as we go. The first thing before us tonight, we had a public hearing tonight on the budget. It was attended by several, but spoken by none, and that's a sign of a good public hearing. Who was? Yeah, I was talking about some other folks. But anyway, we have the budget in front of you. On second and final reading, it includes an increase for all employees and is certainly balanced. It probably has a bigger surplus than we have had in several years. So I will recommend that to you on second and final reading.
I looked this over and I approve, I make a motion to approve.
All right, is there a second to that motion? All right, any discussion?
I know that you had mentioned on the first reading that the police officers, and you had gotten that taken care of because we're supposed to have 24, and you thought they had hired an extra one, but they had not.
They had not. That was my
It was just
mistake.
filling a hole. So I just wanted the public that might be listening to know that we did not go over the allotted police officers.
We did
correct?
not, and we have a full contingent of officers now,
Thank you.
so I appreciate you bringing that up. Yes, ma'am. It's okay.
I probably should have asked this when our officers was here, but are we certain that the officer that has left was not one of the ones that we just sent to the academy?
The officer that left.
No, that's gone, the chief. The one that left.
Yeah, well, see, had he been to the academy?
Our officer that we no longer have on staff,
Uh-huh.
yes.
All right, what,
And so
we
we
made
have-
arrangements to get our money back?
That's why I spoke to you about to see if the city was going to bring a suit or at least have some kind of legal implementation sent to that gentleman so that we could recoup some of those funds, sir.
Okay, all right, then I'll have the city attorney send him a letter and get me the total expense that we incurred on his behalf, and I'll send it to them. If not, we'll have
And I
to,
should have asked that when the chief was here. It just now hit me when
No,
we were
that's a good
talking about numbers. Did he leave on his own will, or did we ask him to leave?
We ended our relationship.
Yeah, I guess we need to get that going then, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I'll get with Tim Davis, get me the total. Good. All right, we had a motion and a second to approve the budget. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Budget's approved for fiscal year 21-22. Hard to believe. Next on the agenda is the ordinance to establish the property tax rate. As you know, we had a reappraisal this year that is done by the Wilson County Assessor of Property for the county and all municipalities. We had to set this at the certified rate, which all that means is it's designed to bring in more money. No. The same amount of money that was brought in this year by property taxes. Because of the assessment, some may pay more, some may pay less, but the bottom line is this rate of 0.6027, or a little over 60 cents per $100 of assessed value. So I'll recommend that to you on second and final reading. Okay, is there a second? Okay, have a motion and a second to set the tax rate at 0.6027. Discussion? Caleb, feel free if you have questions. No questions? The only bad one's the one that doesn't get asked, okay? Questions? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, I want to ask a question about the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I was approached the other day by a gentleman, and he said that the county was charging more taxes for a house that's rented. In other words, he owns a duplex 2 families live in.
Okay.
And he's paying the county more taxes because it's a rented property. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. That's what he was telling me. Do we do the same thing for the county? I mean, for the city?
We will do whatever the county sends us, and I think what they're talking about, Hal, is the 25% assessment for residential, 40%
Yeah,
for commercial.
That's what he said.
And so maybe they've got that into the commercial side. I don't know the answer to that.
And I was wondering, he was, Kenneth Wade, he's
Yeah.
got a little duplex right beside me, and he
Yeah.
said he was paying 40% because he was renting the house out. I didn't understand it because his other house is rented in Watertown. I don't know what if he was thinking about it's more than one family lived in it, or if it's just a rental house.
I don't know the answer to that, Hal. He probably needs to contact the assessor tomorrow. And I don't know if it's too late or not to get on the Board of Equalization's docket if he wants to discuss that with him. But I don't know what the criteria are. You know, it's easy if you're running a grocery store that you're commercial, or if you're operating a factory. I don't know where the line's drawn on real property. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know that I've ever heard that question asked, so that's a good question. Sorry I couldn't help you. Okay, did we vote on that? Did we vote on the tax rate? Everybody voted aye, including our junior member? Okay. All right. Now, the last one, folks, is the order from the state that we must raise water and sewer rates. That came down in an order from the State of Tennessee Water and Wastewater Board. I won't go through my long rigmarole that I did last time, how aggravating this is to me with the amount of reserves that we have. We have more than a year's worth of funds for our water and sewer fund in reserve, but yet they have ordered this, and the options were to do it or to appeal to the Chancery Court in Davidson County. That didn't offer a lot of hope, just to be honest with you. So I'm presenting this to you tonight reluctantly and under duress, just to be honest with you. To raise the water rates a quarter per 1,000 gallons. And I will tell you, I know you don't like to do it either. I don't put myself, I won't put you out there someplace where I won't go. I intend to vote aye for it because under duress, but I think we've actually got to do it. But I can't vote until somebody makes a motion.
Did we ever establish an answer for whether or not we could rescind this in the future once we prove that we have collected the funds that we were negative for in the past?
Yes.
Could we lower this rate back to what it is currently?
It would be my opinion that we could. And I probably need to say to the people out there that maybe have not heard this before, is that 3 or 4 years ago, we ran a negative balance in the water and sewer account by about $5,000. We actually took in more money than we spent, but when you factor in depreciation as an expense, it brought it down. So that's what triggered their action. When I argued in front of them, they wouldn't let me appear personally, but when I argued by video, or by audio rather, in front of them, I told them that at that time we had $750,000 put away in the bank. And I didn't understand how you can call somebody financially distressed, but they did. And so that's what brought this on. They assigned it to the Tennessee Association of Utility Districts, who gave a recommendation that these water rates should be increased, and that board voted to follow that recommendation. So that's how we got to this point tonight. You know, I have to say this and then I'll follow it with something else. It wouldn't bother me at all if we voted not to do this, except for the fact that we're going to be in litigation and it's going to cost us some money. And we're going to have to fight it in Chancery Court in Davidson County, not Chancery Court of Wilson County. So, again, I think it's something that's got to be done.
As much as I, in the same way that you feel, I do not think we have the chance if we were to go and fight this, if Davidson County would rule on our behalf. However, with what Ms. Holcomb had said, if we can prove it and they drop it, then I would like to reconsider us going back to the old cost. But I will make a motion for us to accept this based on the recommendation that you've made.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I appreciate that.
In favor, I'll second.
Reluctantly. I will commit to you that when I start preparing the budget for 22-23, I will take another look at what we were doing on water and sewer rates. And if I feel like we can safely suggest a reduction, I will do it. I'll be glad to look at that. So, okay, questions, comments? All right, we're ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Show it as unanimous. All right, I have one more item of old business, doesn't require any action, but you'll recall we had Luann Rawson here last time, who was complaining about Middle Tennessee Electric had changed out a street light and put in one of the new LED lights, and it was shining directly into her home and creating some problems for her sleeping and that type of thing, and I promised her I'd look into it. And I talked to someone from, she's not here tonight, but if anybody's talking to her, I talked to a gentleman from Middle Tennessee Electric over the engineering department. They did not even have this updated light in their master document or whatever it was, but he identified where it was. He told me that he will send someone out to look at it. He put in an order for it today. They'll see about reducing it from 100 to 50. They'll try this first. If that doesn't work, then they'll look at repositioning the light. They don't want to go back to the old lights because they are not efficient, and I understand that. And we should understand that as well because we pay for the bill of the street light every month. So he promised me he would do that. So if anybody sees Luann or is talking to her, please share that with her. I don't have any items of new business tonight, primarily because it hadn't been but 13 days since we met, and I've been out of town on 7 of them. So I didn't have time to do a whole lot. You probably noticed my mail stacking up this week. Yeah, you left me some bills. What's up with that? Yeah, what's with that? Oh, okay, thank you. Y'all heard it. Okay, as far as informational items, next meeting will be July the 20th, and that is the anniversary of the day we walked on the moon for the first time, and I'm looking around here and probably nobody but me and Hal were here when that happened. You remember that, don't you, Hal? 1969. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Anyway, I won't charge you anything for that. 4th of July festivities, we're going to have fireworks in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce. Fireworks have gone up a little bit this year. Chamber willingly participated and put in their half, and we have also. So we'll start, I was asked today, and I'll give you the stock answer, we'll start about dark. Usually around 9 o'clock, but y'all can remember a couple of times in the last 10 years when we've had to beat the rain. And if we have to, we'll move it up 10 or 15 minutes, but like for it to be dark. Also, we're having a parade that day. I'm sorry, I don't remember what time the parade starts. 3? Okay, should be good and warm that day. So if you want to participate in that, get your squirt guns out. And then you heard John talk about the Jazz Festival tonight. I'm excited about that. That was a signature event here in the early 2000s and for 10, 11, 12 years there. And he mentioned we had some top-of-the-line entertainment. I remember the first night they brought in Boots Randolph. And, you know, Boots is used to playing the clubs down at Printer's Alley, and on Saturday night about 10 o'clock, he's a pretty salty fella. And he got up there and he was pretty salty that night, and I thought, oh Lord, what's going to happen in Watertown? You know, they loved it. Everybody knew him, so. And that'd be good to get Doc Severance, and I'd like to see him. Okay, we'll go around the table. Hal?
Nothing I can think of right now.
Okay. Caleb? New man on the block.
On the parade, I've seen people saying on Facebook there's like conflicting times. I think the chamber has said 2. So I know I've seen several people saying, what time is it starting? So I don't know if 3 is the official.
Yeah, line up at 2. Maybe that's where they're getting
Yeah. Okay.
confused. Okay, glad you brought that up. If y'all get the calls this week, what time? 3 o'clock? Okay. Laura?
I do. I do. I make notes as people call me or talk to me. And I probably should have brought this up when the chief of police was here, but I didn't know if that was the right time since this is business from my constituents. So we will address it with Mr. Hinderlight. First of all, I would like to publicly say that Officer Nick, and that's all I know, that he is so good with the kids and the teenagers and goes up to them and he mentor them and just a great role model. And so I really wanted to brag on Officer Nick. I don't know who he is, but my daughter on numerous occasions, along with some of her friends, has talked about Officer Nick stopped and talked to us and was checking on us, and Mom, he's really nice. And that is what the community that we want with our police officers. So I just would like for that to get back to him, that I appreciate that. The other one was yesterday we were driving and there was a lady, a female police officer, that a gentleman was changing the tire and she was helping direct traffic for his safety, and I really appreciated that too, because I know that is something y'all do not have to do, is provide help with changing tires, but worried about their safety. I do appreciate that. The other thing is, was there anything with the police cam? Did we get that taken care of? That was old business?
We didn't. You and I talked through emails, but we hadn't gotten anywhere on that.
Just want to make sure that we're on it.
I will say this, and I assume it's all right to say, one of the guys that was being complained about here is the one that no longer is with us.
Okay.
Okay?
Would that be the same one that's posting inappropriate things on Facebook?
Well, that's the one thing that me and the mayor haven't had time to talk.
Okay.
I saw it the last meeting, but if you'll tell me what it is, I probably already have a case file on it.
Okay.
Because I don't have social media at all, and I don't like it.
Right.
If there's something that's going on,
Okay.
I wouldn't even know about it, I can fix it.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't have a Facebook yet.
That's fine, that's fine. I will, if you don't mind, just after the meeting, I feel like that's something that's not part of the public meeting time. I'll share that with you, but that's all I have. But I do want to brag on the lady and Officer Nick. If you'll please get that back to him.
Yes, absolutely. Nick's on down, all that calls you.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, Laura. Christie?
So what's the latest on us getting equipment for the city workers? The, what is that thing?
The backhoe?
Yeah, what is the latest on?
We're gonna
all
have to
that
bid
situation?
that, and I just hadn't had a chance to prepare the bid specifications yet. I mean, everybody sent one in and saying, you know, you can buy it,
Yeah.
but we can't buy it that way
Okay,
because we have to bid it.
okay. I just know that's an important piece of equipment for them.
It is.
and So I
It
didn't know
is.
where
It
we
needs
was
to
on
be
that.
we need to make a good, investment.
We do. That's something they use daily. Okay, that's all I got.
Okay. Vice Mayor Holcomb?
A couple things, congrats on the baby, have you heard anything?
No, I've been watching. I hadn't. I suspect that may be a middle of the night thing.
I was hoping. Sorry, Grant. Congrats on the baby.
Thank you.
I'll say that for the public. Our park bench, was it put in? I know we talked to the young lady a couple times. Has that been completed? Working on it? Okay. And that's exciting. That's a good thing. So.
We were over there last week when I had the grandbaby, and I don't know if it's the one that the Girl Scout was supposed to do. However, there is a new swing bench over there.
Is it closer to the baseball field near
It
a tree?
is close to the base. Yes, it is,
then
and
that's
it
probably
faces
it.
the playground,
probably
and
it.
it was wonderful having the shade. So
Good.
it was really nice. I assume that's kind of because that was the
Yeah.
location that we had
Yeah.
talked about with the Girl Scouts.
Good. Awesome.
But it was a swing instead of a bench. But it's really nice.
And I don't know that they were going to start until July, but have we heard anything from Round Lick on the oil change?
Yes, they are. I got something. I should have brought that up. I believe he said that the goal now is to open on July 24th.
Okay, so
I
but
believe.
have they been able to do all of the things they
They were
need?
working on
Clean
some-
the building, something with the awning, electric?
Yeah, he told me a list, or Austin Floyd sent it to me, gave me a list of what they were doing and what was left. And I
Okay.
didn't bring it, I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'll find it.
That's okay, I just
Send
wanted to see if it
Well,
was going.
July 24, I'm pretty
Okay.
certain about. Outside of that, I'm
That's
not.
correct, okay. And this is kinda old, but I know August will be here before we know it. Where did our high school end with a crossing guard, and where are we scheduled to pick up on that in August?
My
And
understanding is they have us a crossing guard, but I'll need to confirm that with Jeff.
Because we were turning that over to the county, the
Yes.
school system, and then I don't
Yes.
think they were unsuccessful. And I know for a fact they tried.
We
I
did
know.
hire someone.
Have they,
Okay, okay.
have they got a crossing guard?
Yes, full-time at the high school.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
we did.
Okay.
He's wonderful.
Well, and I had even had a few conversations at the county level on trying to help them. I think you and I even talked about it. I thought Tony Lee might be a good candidate for that.
We talked about Hal Roberts.
We did talk about Hal Roberts, but
Kids really love it.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
this new one's great.
Great,
So.
awesome.
There's still a position, I believe, open for, over here on Main Street though.
I do think you're right.
And what I've been trying to do is staff somebody to help, but it's really a mess in the afternoons.
It's much harder
Because, you know,
over
it's
there,
one way,
yeah.
And then what we've had, is we're having people pass. Well, even if we're there, there's no way to fix that. Even if you make the people sit in line, you know, it only, you know, it's almost like we need to reroute the traffic, maybe out Pop to come down Grand. I don't know that that's the answer, but I do know that it has been a problem because they've called me. So then I try to get out here when I'm here on leaving in a patrol car and sit the railroad tracks, because they can't cross the tracks without an officer there and not have to stop and open the door. So you have 10 or 12 backed up. So we get that fixed, but when we get those fixed and get that out there, the traffic that's not picking up a kid is passing each other. Well, then here they are blowing our horns at each other, because this side's passed and that side's passed. So we definitely need to do something.
That's over at the middle school?
Yes, sir. Like when they get out, in the mornings it's not as bad, but when they get out in the evenings, you know, you'll have a line going down West Main this way, coming in, and a line this way. Well, the people that aren't there for kids, they're just coming around the line. Well, that puts them in oncoming traffic. Well, the other side's coming out. So we definitely need to fix that. Before there's an injury, and plus you have kids crossing.
We talked about this some time ago. I brought this up some time ago. The officer that was at school, the gentleman that was up there, SRO?
Yes, sir, for the county, yes, sir.
He lined the traffic up there, 2 lines, all the way to the gate. It took all the traffic off the Main Street. Okay, he left, and we got another officer up there. And he sits on the stand, and I'm not being ugly, but that's the truth. And he doesn't line anybody up. And the traffic is all out on the street, and it's dangerous. We brought this up, some time ago, Mike, you remember?
It's been a topic several times over the last few years.
It can be solved if the officer up there will do his job and line the traffic up and get them off Main Street.
Well, technically, the SRO is not responsible for traffic.
But
I just
I'm
want,
saying-
I know the other officer did, but that is not their job description.
I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying he did his job and it solved the problem.
Right, so
Well-
our we just need to, I'll speak with Ms. Price, because it's the administrators that need to go and do that, not the SRO. Because the SRO is
I'm
for
just
our
saying he
safety.
did it,
Right, right.
and it solved the problem.
Yes,
But
I
also
agree. It is
now
better
we'll
with
do
2 lanes, yes. But it just falls under whose job description it is. But I will bring that up to Ms. Price, because the 2 lines will solve that problem.
If you do it.
We probably need to mention that to Mr. Luttrell too, Randy, if you see him down there, we need to mention it, but we need some help up here. And that historically has been the hardest place, because the elementary school has some space and the high school has a lot of space now, but the middle school is all crammed in there together, and it is difficult.
I know Steve has been working on crossing guard, Steve Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
So I may mention.
You mentioned Steve, we really need some help
Will
up
we
there.
not have a crossing
Well, yeah, and what happens is, sometimes that one guard, like he'll be at the elementary school, quick, and then he'll run up here to the middle school. Well, he's on this end of Statesville. Well, guess what? You got people coming out of Grand, going out of college, coming down, you know, the other side of that.
So you got one guy trying to cover 2 schools? Oh,
Well,
that needs to be
and I don't want to speak for the middle school and the administration, but, you know, being a teacher at Watertown High School for the last 15 plus years, it has run pretty well because we've asked for volunteer faculty members to staff that in the afternoons. And so I don't know, and I'm not saying that we need to ask the middle school faculty to do that, but I don't know that we can put 2 or 3 crossing guards at one school. I mean, we're lucky enough to get one, you know, so.
But I do think this year was just an unprecedented year with, we only went half the school year, so you didn't have to necessarily have the 2 lines. And it worked fine until we went back full time. And then when we went back full time, you had double the traffic. And we didn't train them, you know, we just didn't train them to go to 2 lines. And that's something, and I don't even know, at being at the high school, it's just like, you know what, let's just make it through this year. Like, we're not worried about training them, let's just make it through, and then we'll train them the beginning of the year. But, you know, I go to church with Caleb, I do not mind contacting Caleb. It just says, hey, if you don't mind, will you do the double lines again? Because we've had some city complaints on traffic with our being out on the road.
And we can talk to Steve.
For safety too, yes.
And also, there's some speeding going up there. Very, quite a bit of it. I used to have to go up there and get my grandkids and even the buses are speeding.
It definitely has been brought to our attention, and,
I don't know if it's something y'all can do about it or not, but it is, in that school zone, they're asking everybody to go the slow speed, but even the buses are speeding. And they're in a hurry, they're trying to get the kids, and I realize that, but still the speed zone.
right, yeah, you know, again, we're trying to be visible. The only thing that hurts us is if we pull somebody over the middle of the school zone, guess what it does?
Well, you gotta do something.
I know, but I actually have a plan for that as well, so.
Well, we need to, again, get Steve Spencer involved in it. I do feel like it's county responsibility to put somebody up there, one at the elementary and one at the high school, and then our people can work the speed or whatever the problem, people cutting in and out or whatever, because the crossing guard can't run them down. And I'll put, again, a little humor in this, since my friend Hal Roberts is sitting here and Tony Lee, y'all mentioned them about being crossing guards, but I envision what happened on Andy and Mayberry that night that they let Gomer do it. You remember that? And they were all piled up out there like Dodge cars. And
Caleb, you didn't
and
laugh.
it would happen if
you
I
don't
was
remember
doing
that
it, so.
episode?
Do what, Brandon?
He didn't laugh. I asked him if he didn't remember that episode. Caleb. Yeah.
If he's not watching cable, he's not.
My last thing, and then we can get out of here. I do want to welcome you. It's nice to have a fully staffed council again, and it's a wonderful thing in our city to have hard decisions to make when you vote to fill seats. It was like that the last time, Caleb. I know you were on there the last time when Hal came in, and those were great decisions, and Stephen would have been a great decision too. So I'm pleased to be in a city where we've got wonderful people that want to serve, but welcome. We're glad to have you.
We're still looking into that on the dash cams. We will talk about that. That's all I can say at this point in time. Like I said, it's been only 13 days since we met last, and I was gone 7 of them. So if there's any blame to be apportioned, they can put that on me. For you folks that like Vanderbilt, it's nothing to nothing in a rain delay, so you're not going to miss anything.
Every last one of them deserves to be stricken down code.
Yeah, he's a North Carolina State guy.
My brother went to North Carolina State. I didn't go to North Carolina State, but I was rooting for him. I mean, they fixed a bunch of little leaguers out there on Friday, and they almost won.
They almost won.
They won, but for 2 unearned runs. I mean, they even had a bad call down baseline, it was despicable.
Had a
I mean,
pit,
every bit of it smelled like low tide at the pier.
Here's one for you. My husband's one of the biggest Vanderbilt fans in me. He played baseball at NC State.
Really?
So he was very torn by the whole thing.
Wow. Well, that's good.
Yeah, he was the winner either way.
all right, last call for anybody. If not, I'll entertain a motion so we can go home and watch the game.
I make a motion.
All in favor, get up and go home, or get away from